How to grow garlic in 7 days. For a long time, I was so busy with my harvest that I always forgot to plant garlic in the fall. Um, in the winter time, then I'd be upset because I knew, okay, I'm not going to have garlic this coming up year. In the springtime, then I'd be miserable because I had nothing planted. And then I would just have to go and buy garlic. So years ago, I did this experiment, and I've been doing it every year since. You just get a couple of bulbs of garlic. Um, you don't have to keep them in a paper bag for any reason, um, but I just did out of pure laziness. But the first thing you do is you remove all of the skin and you break the bulb apart. A lot of times you'll see some green shoots, which is great. Other times you won't see anything. That's okay. 9 times out of 10, the cloves will sprout as long as you remove all of the paper. And what this does is this gives the cloves a chance to um, get saturated with water and to actually start growing. So you break the clove apart, and you don't have to worry about scraping the skin or damaging the cloves in any way because they're pretty tough and they grow pretty much regardless. I'll show you later on. I have some videos of some quote unquote wounded garlic that I had processed that grew just fine. And this is just store-bought garlic. It's not anything special. I didn't get it from a seed supply store. And that's critical because the only time that you can get garlic is during a specific time during the fall. So if you forget to plant it or you don't order it at the right time, then you're not going to have anything. So you can see that I've already got quite a few cloves that already have some green sprouts. Um, that's great. There's quite a few that don't have them. Once again, they'll grow. So after you pull the bulb apart, um, you take the paper off of each clove. And once again, this just helps it to grow. Now, if you're going to grow it in the ground, you can go ahead and plant them as is. I know a lot of people do. For me, I use a process of actually forcing the garlic just so I know which ones are going to grow and which ones aren't. This saves me garden space. So you just take all of the paper off, and it's not a big deal. It just takes a little bit of time. I'm starting this in March, and they always say, "Oh, well, you have to plant it in the fall so it gets a frost." This is nonsense. I don't do this at all, and I have great success rates with my garlic. Now, this is just the first day. Um, this is actually the same day that I peeled them, put them in water. Now, for day two, they've been sitting in water under a sun lamp. It doesn't have to be an actual sun lamp. It can actually be just a light bulb. Just set it on there and just let it sit. I don't know if you can tell, but there's quite a few. They look kind of rotten, but don't worry about that. And even if they flip upside down, where the roots are on top, a lot of times they will still grow. In fact, most of the time they do. They kind of shoot straight up. So for day three, you can notice that the shoots are coming up, and even those that are damaged, like this one here, they still grow. So all you have to do um, for the upcoming week is you just have to make sure that you have enough water in the bowls. Um, Now, a lot of times it'll get a funky smell, and it'll smell kind of rotten. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to dump the whole bowl out into a colander, and then you want to clean out the jar and just place the garlic cloves back in and fill it up with fresh water. So here's day four. You can notice that they're growing. It's not a problem. Even the wounded ones, like right here, they're still growing. They don't have a lot of heavy roots, but once you put them in the ground, the roots will really spread out and really start to grow. The major thing right now is just to get the sprouts up and going just to, make sure that whatever you plant is actually going to grow. A few times I planted some things and um, they just never took off and it just wasted space in my garden. Now, these roots are really good, even though it's got a big gash in part of the clove. And you'll see that some of these sprouts are kind of crooked. Well, they're just trying to come up um, despite how um, they've been placed in the water. So this is day 5. The sprouts are getting huge, and so are the roots. You can really smell the garlic right now in my house. It's actually quite amazing. I love it when I force garlic each year because you can actually smell it. They're getting really strong now as far as the sprouts are concerned, but also the roots. I'm starting to see a few of the cloves look a little soggy. You might want to wait a day or two just to make sure that they're actually okay. Now, right here is day 6, and I had to put them into a different bowl because they were just getting so big. Um, the sprouts are looking really good. Some are growing faster than some of the others, um, but you can see that even the ones that are taking a little bit longer are taking off now. There are a few that are looking a little mushy. You do not want to leave those in. You want to take them out. They're just bad luck. Sometimes that just happens, but 9 out of 10 times they're going to grow. So it's not a problem at all. Then after the 6th day, I just put it under the sun lap until the next morning. And so on the 7th day, I just go out there and I dig in the dirt and I plant the cloves. Now, this is March when I'm planting them. So they've avoided this cold freeze, which everybody says you need to do. And I just don't do it. Like I said, I forget. I'm too busy during the summer. I'm busy during the fall. In fact, I'm actually spending all my time harvesting all of the plants that I've already planted. Um, but this works spectacularly because, for example, last March, April, I planted forced garlic, and I had a huge crop, and the cloves turned into these beautiful bulbs, and they got huge. And they're really strong. They're actually stronger than the ones that you get in the store. I don't know why. I guess it's just uh, that's just what happens when they're homegrown, but it works out perfectly. So that's how you can get garlic any time of the year in 7 days.